few minutes to join us.
To filter in.
I clicked the button.
You clicked the button.
I clicked it.
Prove it. I don't see anything yet.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Hey. As always, a good 5 to 8 second delay.
Hello,
Ryan.
world.
Someone is trying to pick a fight with you, Ryan, in the free dive post.
The free dive post. Is this the guy who defends the fact that Caprica was a good show because it wasn't?
Yeah. Yeah, it's that guy.
It's a garbage show. I'm so sorry that he has garbage opinions about that.
I still haven't watched it. I mean, I feel like I need to just because.
Oh, you really don't. You really don't. Some things are just so bad that you gain nothing.
So this is like a Matrix 2 situation where
this is worse
if I don't,
than Matrix 2. This is it. If once you've watched it, it slightly ruins the original BSG remake. Like it pulls down what is a pretty good show into just being okay once you've seen the sequel.
That's good.
I haven't watched BSG or Caprica, but I've heard so many bad things about Caprica. It just seems to be an absolute truth. It's bad.
I mean, in BSG's defense, you stop watching after they get to Earth. It's a great show all the way.
No, it's not. I don't know how you can do that. That is if you did that, that's the most depressing medium ever. Yeah.
But then it's wrong all the way through. And then if you keep watching after that, you're like, what?
It does get very weird.
Yeah.
It does get extremely weird.
It gets bad.
I got to open the chat so I can see everyone's opinions about BSG.
No, it's just Super Meat Boy.
So far behind.
Okay. I know. I'm sorry. Got so much to talk about. I actually expected there'd be more to talk about, but a lot of the stuff is just really boring.
Well, there's a lot of AMD news, but too bad we don't care.
Yes.
And for what it's worth, I think some of these are going to fly through. So
probably.
I'm excited with the AMD Chromebook. We might finally get a not garbage $200 Chromebook.
We'll see.
Let's see what the performance is like because they're only dual core, which is concerning. We'll see.
Well, yeah, okay. I won't discuss anymore because then we'll ruin the actual discussion.
Yes, Diablo, it has been a while since I've been on. I've not been able to be on for a while, but things are finally coming back to normal, so.
That's good. We like having you on.
I know you've missed me saying goodnight, I'm sure.
Cody's been saying it's just not the same.
And he's got this closest voice to mine.
I'm sorry, I just insulted Cody.
Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, I get to hand it off to you to actually sign out tonight.
Sweet. Watch both of you say it at the same time.
I think the notch is working again, Killbot. As much as I'm sure you all enjoyed me doing the manual notch with my cat's rabies certificate, we're good now.
I thought you were going to say your actual cat.
Yeah, draw it on the cat.
I do it together.
Just bring the cat.
We now definitely have next week's plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ryan's bring out the cat.
Body lift cat.
If not, I can probably get one of my cats in here to do it. I'm sure they'll be fine.
We'll start drawing on everyone's pets.
Oh my god, the cat's in here. No, get out. I'm podcasting.
He wants to help.
That's why I kick the cats out before I podcast.
See, it's the exact opposite for me. My cat actually hates hearing people talk, so she will, if she was in here, she would give it like 2 minutes and then be, no, I'm out, done, gone.
Cats
She'd
like
run.
to listen to me talk. It's really weird. So they will, if I'm talking, if I'm on like a game chat or something, they'll just follow me in here because they hear me talking.
It's any voice. My cat just does not like human voices. It's crazy.
I mean, I can't really blame her.
My dog thinks that if like I'm alone in my room and I start talking, I'm talking to her. So like if I'm in like a voice chat in a game and I say hello, like my dog will look up like, are we going out? Are we going out? I'm like, no.
This is no longer a Battlestar Galactica podcast. This is a Talk to Your Pets podcast.
Yep.
I mean, that's
as it
like
should be.
We change topics all the time. I really don't know where we are anymore.
Yeah. We went into this going to talk about CS. Now we're talking about BSG and pets.
Hey, for what it's worth,
yeah.
Come on the Q&A sometime and just listen to us talk about movies and Cameras. What
was
our gaming? Bit of gaming.
Oh, I missed a gaming one. Damn.
Just talk about gaming. We don't ever actually play.
No, we don't. We just complain.
Yeah.
One of these days we will totally Minecraft.
Yes, I will get that Minecraft server up at some point soon. Trademark Valve time.
Okay,
probably start now.
Yeah, it seems like that sort of time. All right, everyone, pretend we're professionals. Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, the place where you come on, listen to us talk about Android and Google stuff, and then think about why we are incredibly wrong. I'm Cody Toombs.
I'm Jordan Palmer.
I'm Courtney Davenport.
And I'm Ryan Hager.
And you may notice tonight we are lacking a Ryan and a David. Both of them are off at CES, and well, you've just got to put up with us tonight.
Yes, because they both forgot their microphones.
Yeah, we brought in special guest Jordan.
Yes.
So
yes, a mysterious hidden Jordan.
I think this is a pretty fair trade.
Yeah, I agree. Net gain for everybody.
We swapped out special guest David with special guest Jordan. Except
all right.
Jordan's an actual special guest.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of CES, lots of stuff happening, of course, as usual. So we're going to start off talking about Assistant because, it's just kind of the way it works with CES. Everyone has to put Assistant into everything.
Last year it was Alexa, so this is a nice change of pace.
Oh, there was a little bit of Assistant last year, not much, but it's definitely picking up.
It just exploded this year.
It totally did. So we're starting off with Lenovo. They're introducing a smart clock with a little 4-inch screen. It's it's cute. It's adorable. It kind of looks like the Home Hub interface, but apparently it's not. So it will be running Assistant, and it is a touch interface, but it's not the actual Home Hub software. So apparently Lenovo worked with Google on building the interface to look this way and act this way, but it's just different software.
Yeah, is this our third iteration of a Assistant Smart Display?
It is. Google's going for the record.
Oh, good God.
But I mean, janky software aside, this does look very adorable. I like the gray fabric cover. I'm not really a fan of the tiny mesh volume buttons on the top. That doesn't look fun to use.
Looks like it's dirty.
It does. It looks like a bunch of dirt and grime is going to get stuck between the buttons. I do like that there is a USB port on the back, so you can plug in your phone and not have to run 2 power cables to your nightstand.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
We know how much wattage or what specs the port supports? Is it quick charge? Is it PD? Is it?
Let me see.
Well, it wouldn't be PD, would it? Since it's A.
Yeah, it's just it's okay. No, I don't think they told us what voltage it is. I imagine it's just the 2.4 amp USB-A, probably. It's unfortunately not Type-C. But the rest of it, I mean, it looks cute. I do think that $80 is probably slightly too much for this.
This is probably something that may not actually sell super well, like right up front. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if this is like very, very quickly put on sale. And if it hits like the $60 price point, maybe $50, like that's such a sweet spot for
$50, I'll pick one up.
Yeah, exactly. If this goes on fire sale, for, like Black Friday for $49.99, that's going to be a really easy sell.
Yep.
Like I would pick it up for $50, and I don't even want this.
I thought about putting my Home Hub in the bedroom just because I liked the clock that it puts on at night, but I decided it was better in the kitchen, so I would love to have one of these anyway. But
it remains to be seen how much of the functionality of the original smart display it'll have, though. So for all we know, it could just be a clock, and none of us will end up being very enthusiastic about it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a 4-inch screen, so I feel like you're not going to want to do most smart display stuff on this. I still don't think they should have made like an entirely different software platform just for this, but Yeah, I mean, I don't think you want to like go through recipes on the like iPod Nano screen.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we'll see how much it has in common because it's based on the same Android Things backbone. It could be that they managed to just pick and choose the parts out of the smart display software they wanted, and it's just missing stuff that wouldn't work on a smaller display, or it could be something totally different. So we'll have to see.
What stands out to me is, and we said this during the Q&A the other day, this just seems like such a perfect gift item. It's between 50 and $100, which, you know, that's kind of like your Office Secret Santa territory. It's small. It would travel super well. Like if you wanted to have an alarm clock that you carry with you into a hotel room, like this is the perfect thing.
Yeah,
your phone.
I got one of those right here.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, but yeah, you don't always want to use your phone for it, or maybe your phone, you know, is untrustworthy as an alarm clock. Let's be honest. There's kind of a long history of that. Yeah, to me, this just looks like a really good gift item.
Yeah. And Lenovo has a history of launching these smart displays on sale. The original smart speaker came out like $100 off at Costco. So we might see this land for $50 somewhere like day one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. This going for sale at Costco would be like such an obvious choice for it. So anyone have any other thoughts on this?
No.
Cool. Kill it with fire. And speaking of killing it with fire, if you guys are listening to us right now, you're probably listening to us on Twitch, or you might be listening to the podcast after the show. Either way, we would love it if you would subscribe to us. If you're a Amazon Prime subscriber, you also probably have access to what's called Twitch Prime. Basically, it's a free subscription that you can do with us that gives us money. It will cost you nothing, which makes it kind of awesome. You do have to re-up that each month. Basically, you just pop onto the Twitch site. It's twitch.tv/AndroidPolice. And you basically just hit the button that says subscribe, and we get a little bit of money, and you help support the show. I have not read this thing through before, so I did not have the full automatic like repetition set in my head.
You get it done.
You got
next time. Yeah.
You got it all the important parts. Just give us money. That's all you need to know.
Please do that.
And if you
just me, not the show though, just me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that does work. And if you subscribe live, you will see a cool little notch come down on the screen with your name, which is just kind of amazing when it happens. Speaking of, anyone in the chat room right now, do this so that other people can see. And subscribers also. Oh, perfect.
It's coming. It's coming.
Killbot, thank you. You are an attractive person. And subscribers, of course, also gain access to the infamous Rhine emoji. When you see it, you'll know why you need it.
Yeah.
And speaking of things that when you see them, you'll know if you need them or not. And also following on the assistant train, JBL and Anker are building assistant mics for cars. Basically, plug them into your car's the power port, and you now have you basically have an assistant speaker built into your car.
Who calls it a power port?
I blanked on the name of it. The cigarette lighter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cigarette lighter.
I don't know, because I had the Anker Alexa car charger speaker last year that they put out, and it was cool, but the novelty wore off pretty fast because I don't have Bluetooth in my car. So you had to plug in your phone to the aux port every single time you wanted to use it. And also the I don't know if this would be as big of a deal here, but the LED ring at night was so freaking bright. So it was really distracting. It wore off after a couple of days. I just like, why? I don't really need this.
Yeah, I was wondering a little bit, like, what is this actually going to do for you in the car? Because, like, I think about it in terms of Android Auto. Auto is incredible in the car with voice control, and that's not even the full assistant experience. But that's because it has a screen where a lot of stuff's going to come up. This feels like it's going to be missing so much of the experience.
The best thing that I used it for was getting the weather while I was driving. or turning on one of the lights when I pulled up.
Yeah,
that was all the only use I found for it personally.
The advertisements for these, they did show doing navigation commands, so you could say, drive home, and it would do the same thing. I'm really curious how well it's going to connect to, because this gets an internet connection from your phone over Bluetooth. So if you do that command and it starts navigation on your phone with Google Maps, so like you can still drive using just hearing the voice feedback, but like if you need to pull out your phone to look at something, that would be really sweet. I'm hoping that's how it works. I'm hoping to get both to review. Anchor already said they send me one. I think JBL will too. They're both targeting, I think, late spring, so it's probably going to be a little while, but I'm hoping to try both these out.
Depending on which phone you have, it could really come in handy. I know that the OnePlus 6T, for all that I love it, the mics when you're in a car, if you're using the on-app Android Auto, are terrible. They'll never pick up your voice.
Yeah, that's really why I was so excited when this came out, because like even with my 2016 Pixel, with my 5T, and I think with my 6T, I haven't had a good time to try it yet, but all of them, they can barely hear me in the car. I have to yell the word. I'm not going to say it because my home's behind me, but you have to yell the word, voice typing. It's not great. So if this has this, or if these have the same kind of far field microphones that the Google Home has, that's going to be great. I'm going to love it.
The Rode Viva did have far field mics, and it could pick you up through like the car that I used it in. Actually, I still have really bad road noise, like really bad road noise. It could hear me over that. It could hear me over moderate radio, and it could hear Alexa's wake command even through conversations. So if Anchor does the same thing with the Bolt, that was one of the better parts of that experience, was that it could hear you.
Yeah.
Basically, except with like Windows down, which obviously, duh.
Right. And SpeakXJ asked how the connectivity works. I believe with both of these, you can.
You okay there, Corbin?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Hangouts stuttered for a second. I wasn't sure. Okay. Yeah. So my understanding is that for both JBLs and Anchors, they have. They obviously connect to your phone over Bluetooth, but then they can output audio through your car, either over, just Bluetooth to your car from the assistant device to your car, or over aux. So, yeah, my car doesn't have Bluetooth for audio, so I would have to do it over the aux port.
Which
I'd be curious to know if this. Go ahead.
Well, like I said, that unless you're in the habit of plugging your aux cable into your phone every time you get in your car, that gets old after a while to be able to actually, because you can with the Viva, you could still use it and it would just output on the built-in speaker. But that was terrible. That was really bad. So
but wait, doesn't this maybe I'm missing it, but doesn't the aux cable run from the assistant device that's plugged into the cigarette lighter? Isn't the cable running from that to the car, and your phone is just connecting over Bluetooth?
Oh, exactly. Did they change the design?
This is a different product.
Well, yeah, but
yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not clear from the pictures, but
and if it does some sort of pass-through audio, can you get the audio from your phone to be piped out through the auxiliary?
Yeah,
that'd be a choice. Oh man, that'd be great.
I really want to know how that works, and I'm guessing that this uses the same sort of backend that the Google Assistant headphones use. So I would imagine it would be audio pass through. But again,
that'd be great.
We don't know.
I would. Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited to try one out. Hopefully they ship them sooner rather than later. I don't know what late spring means. That could mean June. So.
Okay, just for clarity, Anchor says they expect theirs to be available this month, and JBL is predicting this spring.
Was that in the post? I think I wrote that wrong. Okay, I wrote that wrong.
Yeah, it's your post. Okay. Then yeah, Last
Yeah.
sentence in the
I
post.
see.
Go fix that.
I'm wrong. I'll fix that after the show.
Um,
I misunderstood. I meant to go fix it earlier. I misunderstood because the PDF they sent us said launching February, but what that actually meant is that they're taking pre-orders.
That's why we forbid the
Gotcha.
L word.
I know. I went back. Yeah, you can't say the L word. It's too confusing.
So two things strike me about design. Well, one is a physical design, one's kind of a feature design. The first is in pictures of both of these, you can tell there are fairly bright. Well, one of them you can see the LEDs are actually on, and they look like they're going to be kind of bright. If you can't turn these down, like through an app or something, you're going to need like electrical tape to cover these because that's going to be so blinding at night.
Yeah, I had.
The ones on anchors don't look too intrusive. The ones on the JBL definitely look like headlights on the on the top.
Well, the one on Anchor, like they're the hero image that we have, you can't see it very much, and that's very clearly like an edited picture. They just did whatever they did.
It's a render.
Yeah. The ones on the JBL, that's just kind of like a straight out of camera picture, and those lights look like they'll be kind of blinding at night. So
They do.
We'll see. Well, Corbin will have both, so we'll find out.
Yeah.
And just on paper, the Anchor one looks like the winner. Like obviously I haven't tested them yet, but the Anchor one has 2 USB ports for charging other stuff, whereas the JBL only has one, and it's like a really slow USB port.
Cheaper, right?
Yes, the Anchor is like $10 cheaper.
Yeah.
So that again, assuming there's no weird hardware or software issues, it looks like the Anchor will be the best. And also the Anchor's physically smaller, it looks like. The JBL kind of looks like
definitely.
The JBL kind of looks like another steering stick for your car. Steering whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
We call everything by the wrong names. It's a thing.
Yes, let me go get my power socket.
Thank
By
you,
the way,
for subscribing.
Woo. Yes,
You
thank
probably
you.
got a
Happy
notch.
birthday too.
I hope there was.
Oh, happy birthday, Luck Buckets. Thank you for giving us money. That's a good birthday gift.
So my other little thought, and I know that this isn't fair, this is asking for a feature that they're obviously not trying to put in, but it kills me a little bit that they don't have like a shared Wi-Fi hotspot feature in this. I forget who made it, but somebody made one of these where you connect your phone to it and you can share your internet connection with other people in the car. And
Was that AT&T that did that? Like a car, like Dodge or something?
It was T-Mobile's drive up thing. Like
That's
the one that was meant to track like your kid's car. It also could be a hotspot.
Okay.
Devin in comments, I think, has one of those in his car. You might be able to tell us.
But yeah, I feel like it's a missed opportunity to not come out with something like that. It would have been so cool.
I don't know. I feel like that would make it a fair bit more expensive.
I was going to say they're going to get much more expensive or be really terrible.
I'd much rather have the thing that just does assistant for $40 or $50.
Well, both products should exist.
Yeah. Maybe, as time goes on, we'll see like better versions of these. Right now, we're getting like the very early first look at this form factor.
So, speaking of products that should exist, Asus has a new Chromebook coming out. The C434.
Which everyone except for me is really excited for.
Okay, I'm actually not excited for this because me and Chromebooks not really a thing yet. But I'll just let you guys talk about this because I know you have way more to say.
I'll just barge in at the appropriate time. Go ahead.
Okay, so the Asus Chromebook C302, that was kind of the one that was the Chromebook to buy for a while. Basically until the Pixelbook came out. It was a really well built. It kind of was built like a MacBook. Had great hardware, good price, fantastic battery life. It was my main laptop for a year, but Asus has never made a replacement for it. And it was you could buy it. It was like 2 years without a replacement, and now they finally announced one. So the main changes are that this is now a 14-inch Chromebook instead of the 12.5-inch C302. It's also entirely, I think, aluminum. What is it made out of? It's like a unibody metal. Yeah. It's also got a bit more of like edges on it. The last one was the C302 was very blocky. This one is kind of more like your usual laptop where it kind of slopes inwards towards the end. They also added a USB Type A port in addition to the 2 USB Type C ports, so it's a little bit better for connecting more of the older USB stuff you've got lying around. It also has a CPU upgrade, so this now has 8th gen Core M3 processors. I don't know any of the differences between the old one and the new one. I assume it's slightly faster.
These are the 5 and 7 watt parts, so you're not getting that crazy 15 watt quad core. This is the Y series.
I mean,
it's a little more
pedestrian. I mean, the M3 and the C302 was fine, so I'm sure.
Yeah, it's totally fine, but
yeah, it's not like a Celeron, so that's good. Yeah, and this is still a 2-in-1, so you can flip it around and use it like a tablet. The screen is, again, it's 14 inches. What's the resolution?
Still just 1080p.
It's 1080p. Ryan's really upset that it's 1080p.
But they made it look nice though.
But it's 1080p. It's a 14-inch 1080p screen. You're spending $600 for. That's not okay.
Ryan, no one cares.
No one cares but me.
No, I am on Ryan's side. I think it's just one of those things where if they had dropped the price a little bit, or
bump it up, if they bumped it up $30 or $40, yeah.
And to me, it's not even an issue of price versus resolution. It's that they have such a good processor in there, and then they're putting a really mediocre, well, not really mediocre, but they're putting a screen in that obviously could have been better.
Mm-hmm. And it's
they have the power.
It's 2019. Nobody's working with the standard old school low DPI anymore. Everything's high DPI now. It's ridiculous to be pushing a Chromebook that you're going to use for Android apps that has a screen that makes Android apps look terrible.
Also, besides Mac OS, Chrome OS is really the only desktop operating system that can function at high DPI, because it's still it's a complete mess on Windows, and I think it's terrible on Linux. I've never actually tried.
Depends on which one you do.
Yeah.
But it's the perfect operating system for high DPI because everything works. So why are they avoiding it? Why push 1080p at a 14-inch screen? That's like 150 PPI. That's way too low.
I mean, we'll see what the battery life is like. That would be probably the big concern. Now, one thing that strikes as important to me when I actually read this entire article is they say up to 8 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
I really feel like I'm going to switch. I'm going to use Ryan's, this is $550 or whatever. I'm going to say if it's $550, you should really have 8 gigs of RAM in the base model. Like, yes. I mean, flash memory is so cheap now. You can't tell me like it'd be too expensive. Like, you can put 8 gigs of RAM in this. Chrome OS is still fine with 4, but you really I mean, again, this is a Chromebook. You can throw 8 gigs in there. It's fine.
Up to last year, 4 gigs in like a $300, $400 Chromebook was whatever. But you're pushing $600, and it's 2019. That's not okay.
Yeah. And again, like, just the prices for RAM have significantly dropped since the beginning of last year. So it's not even like it costs too much to manufacture anymore. It's just, you just decided not to put it in there. That seems like a really big issue to me. But yeah, I think this will be another solid Chromebook. This seems a lot more like a Pixelbook competitor with the larger 14-inch screen. It doesn't have stylus support, it looks like, which is a little bit of a downer. I know. Yeah, I know a lot of people just don't care.
It still has a touch screen. You could use any capacitive stylus. It just won't use an active solution, which is whatever. There's nowhere to put a stylus anyway.
I do like the extra Type A connector because we're still not really there yet where everything's using Type C, and you don't want to carry around dongles all the time. I do kind of like the blocky design of the C302 a little bit more than this. This just seems like another this just looks like another HP laptop.
It gave more space for battery. The tapered design means you need to do those layered packs, and one of them's got to be smaller on the edge, so you get better battery life if you just do the same size all the way out.
Yeah. So Ninja asked, they haven't released the various configurations. To my knowledge, no. They'll probably do that closer to when this will be released. That's what they've usually done.
And it's Asus. We know there are going to be like at least 30 SKUs for every different country.
Yes. You'll have a SKU for every imaginable RAM size, every resolution.
We'll probably never see the i7 in the United States. Somebody else mentioned that, and as soon as they said it, I was like, I know you're right.
I know. Well, it's funny with the C302, there were like 5 different configurations, and all of them were terrible except the M3 with the 4 gigs of RAM. Because like below that, they had a Celeron model, which was like $30 cheaper.
The Best Buy exclusive, which no one should.
That was terrible. I like in my long-term review of the C302, I said no one should ever buy that. And then they made like a M5 version with, no, I think it was an M7, but it still had the 4 gigs of RAM.
And did it like double the storage or something? It's weird.
It was something weird like that. And then like they finally, for like $700 or $800, they had an M7 with 8 or 16 gigs of RAM. And like at that point, you can just buy a Pixelbook, and you're gonna get a much better experience. So maybe this will be the same, where there'll be like 20 configurations and only one will actually be worth buying.
It did earn one particularly high piece of praise from Ryan in his hands-on, and he did not totally hate the keyboard, which is that's high praise.
That is high praise.
No kidding.
I will admit, it actually does look a lot nicer in the hands-on pictures. It looks sleeker than it does in the renders.
Yeah.
Those are really. It does look like an actual professional, like solid premium laptop, especially the thin bezels. I mean, they look really, really nice on this.
XPS style design is nice.
Yeah. I wish they didn't do like a weird dual tone thing on the front display though, because there's like the little metal bar at the bottom and then the black bezel. It would have been nice. I noticed kind of uniform.
Are you sure that's not just reflections from the ambient lighting?
If you go back to the first post, it's very clear. Like the whole bottom.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, their hinge design, the hinge comes right up into the bezel, so it's very, very apparent. So speaking of bezels and going to the exact opposite end of attractive, both Acer and HP also have some Chromebooks coming. I see Ryan's smile. And these look honestly like they look like netbooks out of the 2000s, like mid 2000s or whatever. They just all bezel. Anyway, these are the first AMD powered Chromebooks coming. So I'll just hand this off to you guys.
Yeah. So we've been hearing about possible. So every Chromebook to date, I think, either has an Intel CPU or an ARM chip, either from like MediaTek or Rockchip or someone else. So as far as I know, unless there were some like several years ago, these are the first Chromebooks running an AMD processor.
No, you're correct. They're the first.
Okay. So yeah, that in itself is pretty appealing because AMD has significantly better budget processors than Intel does. I don't know, again, like if they're using the really nice stuff in these Chromebooks. I think Ryan said these are still dual core.
Yeah.
Presumably with no hyper-threading. AMD has a different word for hyper-threading, but yeah. So the first one is from Acer. It's a 15-inch Chromebook, so it's kind of it's a sequel to their Chromebook 15 that Jordan reviewed like a really long time ago. It kind of looks the same, but it's got front-firing speakers. It's got 48 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, 1080p screen. I know, more 4 gig RAM.
No, I just looked up the CPU details. Dual core, dual thread.
Oh, jeez.
Yikes.
6 watt, dual core, dual thread, 6 watt. A little concerning. Okay. Not a lot of cache either.
Though AMD does a little bit better with that configuration than we see elsewhere. So I mean, it's not going to make up for it, but I think it'll do a little better than it sounds like it will.
Maybe.
Yeah. And let's be honest, getting a better processor than the rebranded Adams is not a high bar to cross. I think
that's
AMD can
true.
do it.
Because the price that they're hitting, we're talking sub $300. That's Atom territory. That's
so
that's series Celeron, whatever. But you're right; it won't actually take much to beat that. That's true.
Right.
Those are pretty terrible chips.
They're absolutely awful. So the Acer 15-inch Chromebook, it has 1080p screen, IPS. You can choose between non-touch or touch. I imagine most stores will just sell the touch one. It's got 2 USB-C ports and a headphone jack. Doesn't look like it has any Type A, which is a little bit unfortunate. Battery life rated for 10 hours is pretty standard, and the starting price is $280, but that will probably be for the non-touch one. So maybe the touch one will be $299 or $220, probably somewhere around there. It does look a little bit ugly, but
I mean, you just described an Acer laptop. They're all ugly.
Yeah, they are. They are all ugly. But I mean, assuming that processor is up to stuff, I mean, this seems like this is a much better option than most of the other Chromebooks in this price range, especially the ones that are bigger than 13 inches. Those all have crappy rebranded Atoms and Celerons.
I'm much more interested in the HP Chromebook 14 because the previous Chromebook 14, that sold exceptionally well. That was one of the more popular Chromebooks that I saw in the Chrome OS subreddit. That was the one everybody went for because it was effectively disposable pricing. You were getting an IPS panel, pretty decent specs for like sub 300, 350. That is a good deal.
Yeah. So the other AMD Chromebook came from HP. It's the new HP Chromebook 14. This one has a slightly lower starting price of $269. For the people listening at home, it looks a lot like the MacBooks before they were unibody metal, like the white, like iBook style.
Oh, you're right.
I
didn't even notice that.
Yeah. So that's a good picture in your head. So this one has a BARF 768p screen. That's disgusting. Yeah. There will be a 1080p model, though. I don't know how much that'll cost. RAM is 4 gigs. That's not great. 32 gigs of storage. That's not great. It's got 2 USB Type-C ports and 2 USB Type-A ports. So that's a plus over the Acer. It's also got a headphone jack and a micro SD card slot. Rated for a 9-hour battery life. Again, the starting price is $270, but that'll be for the BARF 768p model that no one should ever allow themselves to use. They've also got, from the hands-on pictures, they've got a really nice looking blue model.
Yeah,
that looks very sweet.
I'm interested in that blue one. It looks like the blue Acer 11-inch one from CES last year.
Yeah. So in addition to this HP Chromebook 14, they're also going to sell a revamped version of. Again, this laptop is not a 2-in-1, so that's the other distinction. Well, no, the Acer wasn't a 2-in-1 either.
Yeah, these are definitely just like netbook profile.
These are just normal laptops. Yeah. So in addition to the HP Chromebook 14, they're also going to be making a. Actually, never mind. I don't think that one has AMD, so no one cares. So yeah, so that's basically it. We got the 2 first AMD powered Chromebooks.
And given the specs, they probably share a hardware platform. I don't know what the name is, but
they
rumored
definitely
for a while. Yeah, but basically the same Chromebook on the inside.
And Ninja said those processors are pre-Zen architecture. Yeah, but AMD's the Ryzen laptop chips have only been available for what, like a year?
Yeah, I think we only saw Ryzen laptops about late summer last year, I think.
And they just announced new chips at this CES, so maybe the next couple AMD Chromebooks we'll be using those.
I would like to see some mid-level, like Ryzen 5, Ryzen 3 Chromebooks.
Well, there's a long hardware pipeline before because they start with the test platforms that you see they crop up in the Chromium Garrett like a year before they actually make a new product. And because we haven't seen anything from an updated AMD design yet, that means that this is all we're getting for a while, at least the next 6 months, probably the next year.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll be able to speed up things a little bit more. They've got it working on some non-Intel.
Unless
platform.
It's pin compatible. If the new chips are pin compatible with the old ones, they could just drop them in. I don't know enough about how the testing behind that works.
I'm not familiar with AMD's laptop chips at all, so I won't speak to that. But these are nice. Competition's always good. The fewer Celeron Chromebooks that I see, the better.
It depends on the Celeron.
Okay, the fewer rebranded Atom Chromebooks.
The N series.
Yeah, N series. You stay away from those.
Although
All right.
we'll see.
Honestly, these things look like they belong as educational laptops to me.
Yeah.
Well, that's all Chromebooks.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty fair, but I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's really just the design and the thick bezels and everything else, but they look like they belong in schools.
Yeah. I mean, when a Chromebook starts at under $300, it is for schools. They're like, oh yeah, sure, we'll sell it at Best Buy too. We don't care. We really get those school contracts.
Well, you'd be surprised. I know that the HP Chromebook, the X14 and the HP Chromebook 14 and the X14 360 or whatever it was called, they both sold really well at the consumer level as well. They were being sold at every Best Buy, and my understanding is they went through quite a lot of them. So people do dig these cheap laptops.
And and I would still definitely buy the HP Chromebooks over like Acers.
They're meant to be cheap. They're like disposable computers. You're buying something that's $280, and it doesn't matter if you have it in 2 years.
And it's still significantly better than any $200 Windows laptop you're going to
Oh,
get.
Oh yeah.
Fast enough. You're getting updates. It'll work with all the services you need.
I know. I still get nightmares about when I worked at Office Depot and we had a ton of those like $200 Dell Chromebooks with like 32 gigs of EMC storage, and the demo units we had like 500 megabytes available. Those, and Dell still sells those. There's still a lot of those.
My brain just twitched.
It was terrible.
I think I just died a little.
Oh, hey, at one time I worked at Dell, and man, I felt bad every single time one of those, like, the advertised model sold, because you knew a good 20-30% of those were going to get returned because people would plug them in and be like, oh no, this is terrible. I don't want this.
I felt that way about when I worked at Target in electronics, and people wanted to buy those cheap, like $180, $200 Acer Chromebooks, like the 11-inch ones. I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. You'll be back here tomorrow asking me why I let you buy it.
Oh boy. Anyway, probably time for another quick shill. You heard it before. Just a reminder, it's always appreciated if you subscribe to us on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you also have a free subscription you can throw our way. It wasn't that long ago since we shilled, so I'm not going to repeat all of it over again. Just want you to know it's super awesome. It helps us keep the show going. So, and
we got two. Yeah.
Wow. Guys, you're on top of it today. Verse Libre, thank you. You're an attractive human being. Please stick with us. And that's
Maple Leaf.
Yeah.
Who says the Samsung Chromebook, in my opinion, are the best with the Super AMOLED screen. The S Pen speakers just sucked and the chip was garbage. I don't think I know the model you're talking about. The Rock chip, I think it was the Rock chip, the OP1 powered Samsung Chromebook. It wasn't a Super AMOLED screen. It was an IPS screen, and it was great. And yes, the chip was a little slow, and the keyboard was bad.
The keyboard was so bad. I went in because like that
Chromebook Plus. The
Chromebook Plus and Pro had the same keyboard.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I had one of those for about a month. Not even a month. Devin was with me when I got it, and that had to go back.
I went to when I was trying to decide between which Chromebook to buy, I went to Best Buy because they had a demo unit of the Chromebook Plus. I tried it for about 2 minutes. I couldn't do it. I went online and bought it.
That's squishy keyboard though. I couldn't handle it.
And it had the nice like 2x1 screen, whatever the aspect ratio.
I believe the panel in it is actually the same panel that's in the Pixelbook because the specs are identical.
Yeah, that was a good Chromebook. The V2 is kind of a downgrade from that. Yeah, except the keyboard. The keyboard's actually usable. So,
and backlit.
I know. Nothing's ever perfect. There's always one or two little things.
Man, one of these days I'm gonna have to get a Chromebook, aren't I?
You probably
will. Yeah.
I just use this Asus one that I reviewed a couple months ago. I just turn it on every now and again.
I bring my Pixelbook with me on trips and vacations now, pretty much exclusively, unless I'm going to an event where I needed to process photos. So I bring my MacBook. I just bring my Pixelbook because it's easier. It lasts longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. So,
Cody, were you done shilling?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, we got
That was the
stuff.
last time we shilled.
So, moving on to our next CES announcement, Nubia, a company I admit I've never heard of. What? Go ahead.
They're pretty new.
They're a subsidiary of ZTE.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Anyway, they are announcing the Red Magic Mars gaming phone. And that's going to be their first phone coming to North America and Europe. Is that it?
Definitely the first North American phone. I don't think they've released anything here before.
Yeah, definitely new to America. I thought that they had done Europe before, but maybe I misread.
I'm pretty sure they've done Europe, but I don't remember precisely. But anyway, definitely new for us here.
Yeah, yeah. So this I gotta say, it actually. I know gaming phones, like the style on them is truly subjective, but I kind of think this looks badass.
The price on it's unbelievable.
$400 to start, but that camo one looks pretty awesome.
Look at that red with the stripe of color going down the middle.
Yeah. Okay, is that a light bar?
I hope it is.
I want that to be a light bar. If that's a light bar,
Pixel didn't get a light bar, but the Nubia is here to save
gaming phones. Get light bars, man.
And a $400 gaming phone.
Is Liam buying this? I think he has to.
I feel like, I could live with either or any three of these. They look really, and I hate gaming aesthetic stuff. Like as a pretty hardcore,
it's a little more understated than like Asus.
Yeah,
I do not like the camo one at all, but I really do like the black one and the red one. We don't get enough red phones here. We don't get enough red phones in America.
So
the red one reminds me of the Red 5T.
Kinda.
Oh yeah, or the Red Nexus 5 a little bit.
But
so this thing also has some pretty solid specs. It's coming in with a 6-inch display, with a 4K 6-inch display.
Nope, 1080p equivalent 18:9. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
still good. Still good. Whatever, it's fine.
It's just taller because it's 18:9.
Yeah. A Snapdragon 845. It comes in 6, 8, or 10 gig RAM options, which yikes. And the storage options also match up with 64, 128, or 256. 16 megapixel rear camera. Honestly, like for 400,
it's such a good value on paper.
Yeah, I feel like there's a catch somewhere hidden in here.
Probably software.
It's probably going to be software. The cameras are probably going to be garbage.
Probably.
Cameras. It's a gaming phone. No one's expecting great cameras.
Do we know if
what about Pokemon
IPS?
Go?
Do we know if the
camera
display
for that?
Do we know if the display is IPS or AMOLED? Because that could be another way that they cut corners if it's a really low bin.
I think it's. I thought I saw somebody say it was an IPS.
Oh, I would have sworn I saw that somewhere when I was reading this earlier, but I may have skipped over it.
Might be in the comments, but I don't remember seeing.
They say LCD, so IPS.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this is looking like a really interesting phone, and they're accepting pre-orders in January, if I remember right.
So basically, this is almost just $100 over the Poco here in the US. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and with the specs and everything else. The only thing is, again, gaming phone, which there is. What I'm not on that side yet. I think gaming phones still have potential to be a pretty good thing, but they got to prove themselves. And the Asus ROG kind of did.
Well, this is almost in a completely different league because it's $400. That's
right.
That's insane for the United States. I'm waiting for the catch. This really, does all my information go to the Chinese government?
Maybe. What is this handle? Is it a case that you put on it?
It's an optional controller grip.
Oh Lord!
So,
but only to one side.
It's like
Yeah.
if you want a Nintendo Switch but terrible.
Half of a Nintendo Switch, I guess.
Yeah, the other half
plug-in
comes
be a
separate.
USB-C, I would assume.
That's what it looks like. So
But
it has a D-pad.
That's the top of the phone, though.
Yeah. Is the
Yeah.
is the USB port on the top?
Or is it in the headphone jack?
Yeah, where's
Like,
is
what-
the Type C
where
on
does
the
it
top?
go?
You're right. That is on the side with the camera. I wonder if
Where's the Type C? Where'd it go?
Mm.
There's no pictures where it shows the top and bottom.
There's a big cable wrapping around the back you can't see, I'm sure.
yeah, really.
I'm kidding.
I'm
Anyway.
gonna watch the video.
Yeah, that is really
just
interesting.
around.
I didn't
I will
notice
be
that was plugged
very-
in there.
But yeah, I'll be very curious to see how this turns out.
The price is the real big deal here because I mean,
Yeah.
if we're talking about gaming phones, there is only one gaming phone, and it's the iPhone. But the fact that this is $400 changes things a little bit because
How much is the iPhone XR or the 10R?
the R is
600?
$750, right? Starts at
Is it?
$750.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's on promotion now, $650. You're right.
Yeah.
But
So this is $250 cheaper than the cheapest new iPhone.
exactly, which is as much as we might prefer Android as a platform, games just run better on iOS.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go out on a limb because I think I know exactly what this controller does. I'll bet anything it is connected by Bluetooth because
You're probably right.
the small text on this says the Red Devils exclusive esports handle helps you to move in a flexible position. It doesn't hurt to shoot in the rain of bullets, blah blah blah. So that they could be kind of trying to make a gaming reference, but I think that flexible position is their key word here. I bet you can take this thing off and put it anywhere you want on the phone, which means it's got to be connecting over Bluetooth.
Yeah, you're probably
Yeah.
right.
Well, look, the phone looks like it's in a case of some kind because the buttons are all recessed. So I wonder. That's why I thought it was it comes in like a case that you put like a TPU case or something that it's attached to.
Maybe
It could
yeah,
be.
you're right.
at this price, that's possible.
That
Yeah.
picture is also just terrible, like in every way. It's obviously
really
just a
bad.
key render. So it
I
honestly, like this could just be an early render that they did and has
That looks
no
like a-
relative or no relationship to the final product.
It looks like a really lame Counter-Strike ripoff in that screenshot.
Well, that
Isn't
looks like
every
the,
shooter on Android?
Yeah,
that looks like the AK from GoldenEye almost.
I think the longer you look at it, the less it makes sense.
Looks like one of those Cobra.
Have you guys
Strike.
seen that meme that someone made where it's a game screenshot, but it has UI elements from like 100 different games?
No, but is it making fun
No.
of asset flips?
No, it's just okay. I'll
It's just
find
things
I'll
like it's
I'll,
meant to,
I'll
like, really
find it
bother.
while you
Yeah.
I'll find it while you guys move on to something else.
It's just got bits from different games so that seeing them all together pisses you off.
Okay, so this might just be the final point, and you guys know the gaming phones better than I do, but correct me if I'm wrong, but it's interesting that this is featuring, apparently it has a button you hit and it will flip into gaming mode where it's promising up to 70% performance improvement. Is that something that the ROG did? I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, there are those booster modes, but 70% seems
yeah.
a bit much to
They
eke
would
out
have
of
to
the-
kill so much of the background services to make something like that happen, and even then, that's
I don't know if
like
there's
turning
enough.
off.
Yeah, pull that.
It just boots into DOS, so the game just gets 100% of system resources.
Honestly, like I would.
a 13.2 degrees Celsius reduction in core temp.
I can't see how
Yeah.
that's possible to do.
Some
both.
sort of
what
active
are they
cooling?
going to cool it with? Yeah.
It's got to be active if they're talking about something like that.
You have to
Yeah.
get little vials of liquid nitrogen, and you just slip it in if you want to play a game. And then when it runs out, you got to take it out and put another vial in.
True gamers live on liquid nitrogen.
That's how I cool my.
There's not enough space in there for active cooling. It's got to be.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
So anyway, we'll leave that one to be discovered probably just within the month or 2 months, however long it takes for them to ship this thing.
They're already selling it in China, it says. So yeah, who knows? Could be soon.
So, yeah, moving on to non-CES announcements, because there actually are a few things. Well, not so much an announcement, but a Googler has revealed or kind of confirmed Android Q is getting a system-wide dark mode. And my phone just woke up to those words. Anyway, so we've all known it was coming in some capacity. Like, we've all expected it. We figured it had to happen eventually. And Android Q is going to be the place where it finally does. Flip a switch on your Android phone, and all of your apps that support it will basically switch into their dark theme, dark mode, whatever you want to call it.
I would love this.
I just want to point out that I finally found the thing I was talking about. I put in the Twitch chat if anyone else wants to see it and get angry.
It will make you angry.
The freaking Dark Souls, Doom, Super Mario 64, Mario Kart, Overwatch.
They've got the Lego Star Wars guy in the top. They got the Minecraft.
What the heck is this?
To listeners at home, just be aware this is amazing, and you're missing out by not watching the show.
I'll put the link in the show notes. I promise.
Oh, but that is truly amazing.
There's a better one. Hold on. Crap.
There are too many of these.
That might be the best thing I've seen all day or all week.
Oh, this is the gift one. I've seen some pretty good.
Okay, wait. This is the good one. Here, wait. Copy image paste. Okay, there we go. That's the one. That's the
one I thought you were.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That literally has every UI element.
But my brain is dancing.
It's
like I'm trying to recognize every single one.
My brain is doing a waltz around the screen right now. It's a thing.
Okay, I'm sorry for completely
derailing. We've been derailed. We'll edit this out. We're
off the rails entirely. The train has wrecked.
Dark mode and Q. Let's go.
Okay.
So Google actually pulled. They posted the information to a the Chrome bug tracker. So it showed up in Chrome because someone was saying. Someone at Google was saying that they needed to make sure that all of the applications were ready in time for the release of Android Q to support the dark mode, implying the existence of a dark mode. But as soon as we spotted it and published our story, they pulled the page. So we actually had to, if you go there now, you'll get this permissions denied error. So all that's left is our screen cap of the original site.
Yeah, they do this a lot. Like, I remember when the whole thing was going on where they pulled the Chrome Home UI where the address bar was on the bottom. That whole discussion got locked to only Google people after me and a couple other sites pointed it out. So yeah, they made an oopsie, but everything on the internet is forever.
And hilariously, this information has been floating around since last October. That was when the page was published in the Chromium bug tracker, and it just sat there referencing all of this stuff, no one noticing since then.
Yeah, it has a way of happening. But seriously, it is hilarious how often, and I think they know what they're doing. They've got to. They just don't care. Gets leaked this way.
I think they just don't care. Like, it doesn't really matter until, again, like in this case, 6 months later, someone finds it, and then someone gets a really stern talking to over at Google.
Well, they linked some pretty confidential stuff. There's a complete Android Q changelog document that was in the post, which I requested access to and was not granted.
Oh,
bastards!
I'm just imagining the project lead on Android going, wait, who's this Ryan? Oh, it's probably fine. I'll just click accept.
That's what I was hoping would happen. They'd just be like, whatever.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sure this is someone from like the other department. It's fine. There's someone from legal.
So speaking of other changes to Android, there is a new SMS and call permission policy that is kicking in and basically telling app developers, sorry, but this is stuff not everyone's going to get anymore.
Yep.
And Ryan, I'll just let you explain this one.
So last year, as part of its war against spam, Google decided it was going to crack down on the number of apps and the way that they requested SMS and call permissions to protect user privacy. The unfortunate thing about that is that a lot of applications, SMS backup apps, security apps, use these permissions for things other than sending SMS, but they're legitimate use cases. Unfortunately, when Google was assembling its list of exceptions, it was pretty narrow in terms of what it was willing to accept. And although it's expanded that list over time, not all of the applications, like Cerberus, very well known, very well used application for phone security, it technically doesn't fit into any of the categories that are provided. So when Cerberus applied for an exemption for how it was using SMS and call permissions as a security app, it was denied. I believe it was denied the first time, and then the second time they just decided not to continue their application because Google's new form specifically and explicitly forbid security applications from using the SMS permission, which is a little ridiculous. But that's not the only problem. A bunch of applications that are actually in the categories that should be allowed are not being allowed, just because this whole review process is automated, it seems like. So Google's not actually reviewing any of these apps to determine which ones might be exempt. And the whole point is, because they're granting exemptions and they're not giving it like the full manual review process, it's kind of ridiculous. So I'm pretty low-key livid about this whole thing, because developers are getting screwed and there's nothing they can do because Google's this giant faceless entity that they have no one to address when it comes to support issues like this. And it's been a problem with all sorts of other things before that we've talked about, and it'll continue to be a problem, and I hate it.
Yeah, could not agree more. It's the famous story. We hear this about every 6 months or so.
Not even that.
Probably probably more frequent than that.
Every 3 at least.
Yeah, there's always something new, and it always comes back to the same. If we could only talk to somebody, we can explain a case, and it might get fixed. And the it's not just developers taking the brunt on this; it's also the users. So it's screwing up so much for so many people.
Yeah, when you look at the number of apps, and especially apps like Cerberus, we're talking apps that are used by millions of people. And there's nothing that the people using it can do. There's nothing the developers can do. Everyone involved is just screwed, because Google wouldn't want to throw warm bodies at the problem. It would rather automate the whole thing. Like, whatever.
Yeah. And you know, if you want to, you could put your conspiracy hat on and point out that Google basically has, their own tracking suite. So they don't necessarily maybe want Cerberus to run. So that could maybe be part of it, possibly.
They just don't want to put forward the money that would be required to hire some trained support staff to handle
how just look at how they handle stuff on YouTube. It's the same freaking problem.
This is just where every Google related problem comes to, is that they would much rather put algorithms and AI and automated systems in place of where there should be a person. Like every.
We're just not ready for that yet. Systems aren't ready for full time.
It's a problem on YouTube. It's a problem on the Play Store. It's a problem on the Chrome Web Store, where another piece of like cryptocurrency mining malware shows up every month. It's not changing anytime soon, unfortunately.
This is a symptom of a solution to a problem that could also be solved by the same thing. If they want to prevent garbage apps on the App Store, do a manual review process. Don't automate the whole thing. This is unbelievable.
Google will build an AI to automate it.
At the very least,
Skynet began.
It would be so great if I think they could automate most of it and leave most of it kind of the way it's working now. But they just need to have human beings available to deal with many of these steps.
Yeah, you can have it automated, but as soon as somebody submits an appeal, a real person looks at it and discusses it with the person that's appealing.
Right.
Famously, a lot of these issues, they don't end up getting solved until they either become really big Reddit threads, or a couple of sites like us end up covering something and sort of bringing it to the attention of whoever actually can do something about it, at which point those people usually say, sorry, we honestly did not see this until now. Now we're happy to deal with it.
How many times has that happened since we started covering stuff like this?
And it's happened 3 times since I started working here, and it's ridiculous if that's what it takes to get Google.
And it's not even, how many times we cover this. It's, us covering a story like this is going to be the exception. How many apps go without major press coverage when Google breaks them or doesn't answer their support queries? I mean, probably hundreds, thousands. I'm sure it's a very high number.
In all fairness, Warm Bodies does not necessarily solve this either, because I listened to a few Apple podcasts, and honestly, I can't count how many times they've brought up the same complaint, same argument, and we're talking about Apple, where they literally have every single app getting reviewed with every single update. Now, granted, if you know enough about it, you know that they're not reviewing all of those updates that precisely. Like, some of them get just a few minutes passing in front of a pair of eyes, and then it's like, yeah, rubber stamp it, it's fine.
Remember that time a couple of years ago where a jailbreak app got through?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
that was fun.
Then they blocked Steam Link for some reason because
you could buy it was violating their thing where they would get 30% out of any in-app purchase.
Yeah, like you could really. It was just because you could access Steam.
I know.
Buy something on your.
I know that
would Steam Link.
I know. Well, that would be like, like removing like a VNC viewer because you can buy stuff on your computer. I know it was stupid, but there was like an actual like a jailbreak app a couple of years ago that got through the whole approval process, and it was there for like a week.
Hey, for what it's worth, here was a good one. iTunes at one point they featured an app on the store. It was one of their like main hey, everyone, look at this really innovative thing we've done. And then in the same week, the app got removed for violating policies, and the policy was that it allowed users to interact with a Today widget. That was it. Today widgets are supposed to be informational only, and you're allowed to interact with them, but not in the way that was done in this. So yeah, the app gets removed at the same time as getting featured. That was brilliant.
That's
and
funny.
I mean, we've seen Google kind of do something like that. We've seen a couple of apps end up in like their editors lists and some of the top paid lists and stuff like that, and then the app ends up being revealed in some terrible thing.
The editor's choice thing is a complete joke. How long has Snapchat been in there? That should be no one's choice. No one should be pointing to that and say this is a good app.
Yeah, it's a popularity thing.
I know, but it should not be an editor's choice.
Speaking of popularity things.
Yes. That's a good segue.
It is a good segue.
Yes. So, turns out there's a date for the announcement of the Galaxy S10.
We got an announcement of an announcement, folks.
Yes, the event where we will find out what this phone is. If it's a phone. It might not. No, it's a phone. It's definitely a phone.
Or phones.
Oh, wow. You know what?
It's a Galaxy View sequel.
Attach some wings to it. It can be a drone. No, anyway, February 20th. That's the date. So, about 6 weeks from now, we get to find out what Samsung's next big or medium thing will be.
Mm-hmm. It's a Galaxy Mega sequel. We've been waiting years for this.
Dude, I've been waiting years for that. That was such a terrible phone.
No. What was the one with the projector on it?
Oh, the Galaxy Beam?
Yes, Galaxy Beam 2. Let's go.
So terrified.
Oh man, that would be a perfect time. Motorola is winding down on mods. Samsung comes in with their own projector phone. I don't know.
I think Motorola is going to stick.
The Z4 renders that leaked had the pins on it, so I don't think Moto's slowing down.
We talked about on the last show, but again, where's my Galaxy Beam 2 Samsung? Come on now. You could probably make that like a semi decent phone now.
It needs to be a folding projector, or I don't want it.
I want a Galaxy camera sequel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god, a good one.
Don't get me and Cody started on this. The podcast will run for like 2 hours long.
Well, then we can probably get Artem to appear, because then you could just get a camera with Google Photos on it.
Yep.
And you know how much he likes that idea.
That's the dream.
Oh, we are all so into this idea. Though it has to be like interchangeable lens camera. It can't just be
we spent like an hour and a half talking about this last time we talked about this.
Yeah,
let's not go down that road. But
yeah, we will totally go way too long. So all I can say is, I hope they run another event with Jeremy. I want to see Jeremy come back.
Who was Jeremy? Oh yeah,
yeah. See, oh, that was so cringeworthy.
It was.
No, Samsung seems to be past the cringeworthy stuff. Hopefully, maybe, sort of.
I don't know. Are they gonna show the? I want to know if they're gonna show the Galaxy Home again for like the 5th time and still not say when it's coming out.
I want to
still not out yet.
No, it's not. They don't have it. They don't even have a date for it. They were showing it to people at CES, I think.
Wow. Yes, they were.
Because they showed it off at the Note 9 launch, and then they said they were going to talk about it more at the developer conference. And then the developer conference, like, nothing happened. I assumed it was just going to be silently launched later, but we're still waiting. Oh my god!
I completely forgot about that thing, and I want it less now.
It'll be a very nice Bluetooth speaker.
Wanting it less is a good instinct.
It is a good instinct.
So yeah. Anyway, that's gonna happen. Samsung will be announcing their phone. I gotta say though, I love that they're like, you know what? There's all the CES news. Let's try to take a little of that away and tell people about our thing that we're not actually going to tell you about yet.
They definitely got some press coverage with it.
Yeah, that's fair, but still,
they wanted to stay in the news, especially now that flagship sales are dropping as fast as they are. I'm curious to see in this coming year. I talked about this a little bit in our work chat because most of the loss that Samsung saw the quarter before last was due to a decline in flagship sales. They were still seeing growth in the mid and low range. So I was curious to see when we see the next numbers and as we go into the next year, if that loss starts extending down into the mid and low range phones, or if we're just going to see a continued sustained loss in the flagship space.
Was that the quarter before the Note 9 launched?
It was the quarter of the Note 9 launch.
Okay, so I wonder how that actually affected things. Because
I'm sure the numbers are going to be even lower. They projected at the time they projected an even greater loss for the flagship mobile division. And furthermore, the only thing keeping them afloat at the time was the memory division, which memory prices are dropping.
Oh
so.
Yeah, because
they all got
prices.
Yes,
they were pulling some shady stuff. But wasn't there rumor last year? I seem to remember something that Samsung was going to be combining, like, getting rid of the S Plus, and that was just going to be the Note, and they were just going to have the normal, the small S, and then the Note as the big phone, because they were having such pretty crazy losses.
I think that the current leaks are indicating there's going to be 3 models of the S10, and maybe we'll be losing the Note as a result, but there's going to be a small one with 2 cameras, a medium-sized one with 3 cameras, and a large one with 3 cameras.
Okay, so they're doing an Apple.
Yeah,
well, they're doing 3. They're doing 3 that are all they're all in the same series, so they're not going to be one is decidedly more lower end. These are based upon size. The smaller one just cutting one of the cameras because it's tiny.
Yeah, and on top of that, we might hear about their flexible phone, which is supposed to come out probably this year.
The $1,700 one.
Yeah, because they teased it last year, so that will almost certainly come out this year.
Yeah, I'd love to see them announce it. I do not have a lot of faith that they will. It feels very optimistic.
The Wall Street Journal said that Samsung will have a, quote, fully functional foldable screen handset, quote, to show off at the event.
So we might not be on sale then, but we'll get to see more of it.
Yeah,
probably.
It'll not have a release date, just like the Bixby speaker.
It'll just be on indefinite hiatus.
That
feel
seems like a really bad idea if they do show it off, because they're going to steal media attention away from their S10.
Yeah, because everyone's going to be talking about the foldable phone.
Yeah,
it's going to catch all the normie eyes. That's what.
Unless they reveal something that precludes interest and therefore prevents them from losing sales. If the price tag comes out at the same time and it's huge as we all expect it to be, anybody who's paying attention is going to be like, "Oh no, that doesn't really matter to me. I'm buying a $1,000 phone, not a $3,000 phone."
I mean, the price though is really just second, right? You know, like, just imagine, like, CNET and CNN and all like the major outlets, they'll cover this as Samsung invents a foldable phone. The price is
prices. Everybody's going to go for the best possible angle. If this is a $3,000 phone, everyone's going to cover it as Samsung announces $3,000 folding phone.
That's
the price will be front and foremost.
Yeah.
So it could be a very wise decision to push people into thinking the S10 is more affordable in comparison, even.
Yeah, because
cannibalizing we even foldable phone later.
Yeah, and we even knew about this before, where the first Samsung foldable phone is going to be very expensive, probably limited run, maybe even might not even come out outside of South Korea. So
maybe.
Yeah, still, unless they know what, or unless they're very careful with that, I think they could hurt themselves a lot by announcing that too early or with the wrong price, or it really just in any way linking it with the S10. That could backfire way too easily.
Diablo in the chat said T-Mobile will do a 48-month payment plan on it.
Oh yeah, to keep it under $50 a month. That's
T-Mobile will definitely run a commercial that says $15 a month, and then in like the smallest print possible, 60 months. This will go right alongside your home mortgage,
your car loan.
All right, and with that, we should probably let our dear listeners take a break. Mm-hmm. So hey, if you're listening to this show, we would love it if you'd give us a couple of Twitch Prime subscriptions if you've got any laying around. And by all means, come chat with us during the Q&A show on Tuesday nights, or catch us on Thursday nights live with the podcast. And, well, that's about it.
And thanks for the Prime sub, Brother Bamboo.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, everybody. Yeah, Brother Bamboo. Good timing on that.
And thank you to everybody else that subscribed tonight. We love you. Sort of.
We like you a lot.
Yeah, well, we like you a lot.
All right. Well.
Good night, everyone.